On this edition of The Fifth Estate, her name is Lucy. She's Edmonton's one and only elephant, which means she may well be the northernmost elephant in the world.
Canada is a wonderful place, and I love Canadians. I love them on Price is Right. I love the country, but it ain't no place for elephants.
Come.
Now, Lucy's at the very heart of the bitter fight over the future of elephants in zoos.
Lucy's been with her handlers for most of them into their third decade. These handlers are her family.
They're so desperate to hold on to elephants. It's like this is a prized possession that I think maybe they just cannot see the truth.
Free the elephants!
The lines have been drawn from Edmonton to Toronto.
We can't just throw our elephants out to the sanctuary because some people went there. This is ridiculous.
Ahead, what some zoos will do to keep them.
For Maggie, they actually brought in a treadmill.
Literally.
There's a treadmill, an elephant treadmill.
We built one for $150,000.
And why TV legends are campaigning to let the elephants go.
These people are filled with the same empathy we are, but for some reason, and I don't know the reason, they're keeping Lucy there.
The question on this Fifth Estate: could Canada's elephants be the beginning of the end for the world's zoos? Hello, I'm Bob McEwen. Welcome to the Fifth Estate. They call them charismatic megafauna, which translates to the attention-getting large animals that are zoo headliners that bring the people through the front gates. And make no mistake about it, there are a lot of customers. According to the Association of Zoos and Aquariums in North America, more people go to zoos every year than attend professional sporting events. 175 million of them, creating billions and billions of dollars worth of revenue. Which explains why the fight over Canada's elephants has become so heated and controversial. They are first and foremost gigantic, 2 or 3 times the weight of a car, perhaps as tall as the room you're in now. At once plodding, yet graceful, good-natured, but with lethal power. The largest animal to walk the earth is distinguished not only by its sheer size, but also by intelligence, sociability, and family ties. Internationally known zoo director and architect David Hancock.
It's difficult to describe how sociable elephants are. I mean, the females, the matriarchal society that they have, a female born into that group will never be separated from its mother, its sister, its aunts, its grandmothers. They're always together, they're always in touch. The only way they lose each other is through death.
It's what happened to Lucy when she was orphaned in the wilds of Sri Lanka at the age of 2, then sold to the Edmonton Valley Zoo.
Good girl.
She's been there for more than 30 years now, for over a decade and a half of it, without the company of other elephants. The Edmonton Valley Zoo's veterinarian, Dr. Milton Ness, says Lucy no longer needs elephants.
Lucy was an elephant that was raised in companionship with people, and she derives a tremendous amount of her social needs from the people that she's around.
You okay? I scratch your tongue?
I believe that she's very comfortable and quite content with the kind of companionship that she receives on a day-to-day basis.
Except she doesn't really have a choice now. Well, she's stuck with people whether she wants them or not.
She's been with elephants in the past, and in the past she hasn't formed strong bonds with those elephants. And she has been with people all along, and she's formed very good and complete bonds with the people she's been around.
After decades working with zoos on 3 continents, David Hancock doesn't buy that.
I use the word delusion, and I don't use that term lightly. And I think when people say, we've been looking after an elephant, she's a people elephant, they know nothing about elephants, people who would say that. It's more than just a zoo-centric view. It's like, it's a completely blinkered view of reality. There's no way an elephant can become a people elephant. She's forced to have some sort of social interaction with some living thing, and the only thing that's there are people.
Let's go, move. Good girl.
It seems that Lucy is well cared for in Edmonton.
Come, good, move.
Between them, her main keepers have been with her for decades, though they do carry the controversial iron rods known as bullhooks. In the time we spent with them, they treated her with gentleness and respect. But for some, the issue is far more fundamental.
Good girl.
I don't care how much they love an elephant or how much they think the elephant loves them. That elephant would rather be with other elephants than with them. And that's the case of this one elephant, Lucy, up there in Canada.
Here is the star, The Price is Right.
Now in his late 80s, the former game show host Bob Barker is still a television icon. Though today he's almost as well known as an activist for animal rights.
Have your pets spayed or neutered.
Especially for elephants in zoos, like Lucy in Edmonton.
If she is confined, and she is 75% of the year in Canada. Canada is a wonderful place, and I love Canadians. I loved them on Price is Right, and I love the country, but it ain't no place for elephants.
A few years ago, Barker became the front man for the campaign to relocate Lucy from Edmonton to a wildlife sanctuary in the U.S. The Free Lucy movement argues that both in climate and space, she's about as far as she can get from her natural habitat, where elephants travel to find food and water, often more than 20 kilometers a day.
But it's not just the walking. The elephants are walking and they're active and they're interacting with their environment and they're tearing limbs off trees, and they're a very super aware sort of animal. You put it into a zoo enclosure, nothing ever changes in that enclosure. They come out of their barn door every morning. It's identical to what it was yesterday.
But Edmonton Zoo vet Milton Ness insists for Lucy, life in Edmonton is as fulfilling as it could be.
Are you happy now? You're very happy, good girl.
Lucy's grown up here. Lucy has lived in this environment virtually her whole life and does very well. We have created some policies and procedures just to make sure that nothing bad happens. Basically, Lucy goes for a walk throughout the zoo every day of the year, except on those days when it's below minus 20 degrees Celsius, which is not that many days in a year.
Daddy? After the break, if you have to relocate a 4-ton elephant, how exactly do you do it? As you'll see, carefully, very carefully.